Just know your kids were so complimentary, every single one. I said, who's the most important person? They, hands down, Mom. Just in terms of helping them through their hard moments. They feel like they can turn to you and they can turn to Brian for other stuff. What's it like being a mom with these 5 very busy kids?
It is busy, but rewarding. I love being a mom.
What's the best moment of being a mom?
I think just seeing my kids succeed, or especially after they've worked really hard.
You've seen the tears probably in the sweat. They probably cried.
Yes, there's been lots of tears, lots of frustration.
Some of them said you helped them through their tears. So what helps you when, I bet you're equally frustrated at times, what helps you help them through their tears?
Growing up, I got frustrated a lot. I was a perfectionist, so.
Are you and Lily pretty similar?
Yeah,
you think personality-wise?
Yeah.
Nancy seems like a different mold.
A little bit. There's definitely, I see things in her that her creativity side, probably.
Oh, yeah, she was talking about how she loves to just imagine stuff. And alicorn. I don't even know what that is. She had to explain to me. Yeah. So, you're building a house right now. How's that going?
It's going good. Lots of decisions, but I'm a really terrible decision maker. There's goods to both sides a lot of time, and it's hard to decide which one I want more.
You can see the good in everything, is what you're saying.
Yes, I try to.
How have you looked upward, and knowing your audience is your threads of light? Because I'm sure it's not your kids always. So just who lifts you up? And
I just gravitate towards people that are kind. Anyone that is, there's just still certain people that are just, like put off that aura of being kind to anyone. So that whatever you say to them, you're safe. You're not going to offend them. They're always going to be giving back to you. Right. Always. If everyone in the world would just be just a little more kind, a lot more things would run more smoothly. Driving down the road, if you worried more about what other, how other people were driving, not. I'm just like, if you let someone in instead of being like, well, no, it was my turn to be in that spot, there would be less crashes. There would be.
Same. My poor mother got flipped off a few times.
Yeah. Or just every day. Anything you do in life, if you're just do it, if everyone was kinder. Mm-hmm. I always tell my kids, I wouldn't want to necessarily go back to high school, but if I could, I would tell myself to be just more kind. Not that I was mean in high school or anything, but just to go out of my way to be more kind to people. Just to think of that other person before yourself. Yeah, because there's definitely people you're like, I could have maybe made a difference in their life had I paid attention to them a little bit more. And had you seen them? Yeah. But I wasn't necessarily like mean to them. Yeah. But you, anyhow. So what's helped you figure that out? I guess just having people be kind to me, just came to us and were kind to us and invited us to things. I was so impressed with your neighbor when we shot the big ginormous firework into their minivan that they didn't come over and just freak out. Or did they? I'm like, and they just rolled with the punches on that one night. Whereas when we moved into the neighborhood we are in now, it was like from day one, people were like introducing themselves and inviting us over for dinner and things. I'm fairly shy. Yeah. I really do better if someone else is a little more outgoing than me. Well, now I'm going to reverse it on you. So what's been your journey as you've looked outward and you've been that for people where you have lifted them up? And just going back to being kind. I don't remember this, but I guess my teacher told my mom when I was little that there was a little girl in our class that she lost her sister. And apparently I was extra kind to her because the teacher went out of her way to tell my mom how kind I was to her and how I was really helping her. And I was like, I don't remember doing that. But apparently I was. I think I get along with most people. Yeah. And I know there's times when I work with people that people are like, oh, that person is so hard to work with. And I'll be like, yeah. I don't know. I don't see that.
I play games with you because that's where I see your competitiveness.
Yes, I am very competitive.
One of your kids said you now do like these cooperative games, and that's been better. So, yeah, where are you trying to work together versus against each other? Yeah. So now, what I know, I mean, I know I've done a lot of podcasts now with your family. I think we've had this conversation of, just meeting Brian and deciding that he was the one. And are you glad you married that guy?
Of course I'm glad I married him. It's been amazing.
It's been fun to watch how you've kind of evolved and how you work together. And building a home's probably brought out even more of that.
Everyone said, our neighbors said, if you can survive building a home together, you can survive anything in your marriage.
Yeah. So what about your relationship with God? How's that journey gone for you through life?
I always, tell people, like, the most important thing that you should ever know is that you're a child of God. If you forget everything else about the gospel or about church, but if you remember that you are a child of God, then, in those dark times, you remember that, then that's going to bring you back. Because you'll know who you are, because you are a child of God. And, that if you know who you are, you're going to change.
You feel like you want to be better because of who he is?
I definitely had the times in my life when have felt all alone. And that was the only thing that really helped me get through those times, was to remember that I was a child of God. And I could pray to him and, get comfort. Sometimes it's hard because I'm still working out the whole how I hear God.
I am too.
Because you hear how other people hear him, and that's not how it works for me. But, I still have that belief that he's there.
Have there been people in your life that have helped you see how to do that for yourself, or have you just had to kind of figure that out for yourself?
My parents, like my dad especially, he, I remember a time in junior high when I was on the basketball team, and I wasn't getting as much playing time as I wanted, and I was struggling. And he brought it back to the scriptures and God, about how God will give us weaknesses to make us strong. And that just was always, stuck out to me, that, you took a temporal, physical problem and brought God into it. That really, it was just a year of basketball. It wasn't life-changing. I didn't go on to be some basketball star. Yeah. But I guess it was important to me then.
Just think about some of these people who've been like, so you said your parents have been that for you.
They raised me, helped me to be who I am today. To still how to work hard. That was... You grew up, tell people a little bit about what you... my parents run a swimming resort. We worked there. We didn't eat dinner until 10 o'clock at night. That was normal. We didn't get home until then, 9 or 10 o'clock.
You were like a lifeguard.
I was a lifeguard kitchen. Right? I remember my mom be like, she didn't like how some kids use a broom. Like, if you didn't, you just very lightly, and it's just like, you don't know how to work. So every time I use a broom, I got to make sure I'm using it. You got to actually put a little bit of effort in the broom. You can't just move it across the floor. Work hard.
Yeah. Your community, I have observed you with these plays that you've done with your schools, with your kids. It sure seems like you've put, like what your mom taught you, you've put a lot of effort into it. What have you learned by doing that and that kind of service for your community?
I think like my parents were involved. They're EMTs. They were involved in a lot of different community volunteer opportunities. And I think I saw that. And I loved volunteer at things. Like my kids are in the play. I love just being involved with that.
What all have you done for those productions?
A lot of some artwork, like background artwork, sets, and I've helped with like backstage stuff with like makeup and hair and I don't know, just like
those sets are amazing. I want you to know because I've seen those. I'm like, wow, someone did a lot of work on that. And then I learned it was you.
I love being involved in my kids' school. I love that we can go in. Like I go in right now. I'm volunteering twice in Owen's class a week and once in.
I tell you, just having been a teacher, that makes a world of difference when you have those parents that give that time.
And I also do a lot of PTA stuff. And it's been sad over the last few years how the decline in volunteering.
Just where the parents aren't involved, like the school's got this, so I'll do my thing.
That's the years that, sometimes teachers don't have volunteering as much in their classroom.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want your child to succeed, I think you've got to work all together. I think if people see that you're putting in the effort, they're going to put in more effort.
I know what you're saying on that one. So is there anything else you'd want like your kids to know?
Just go back to that. There's good in everyone. If you look for it, you're going to find it. It's hard. I'm not perfect at it, but if you can take a step back and try to find that good in them. And I think in every situation you're in, you can find the good in it. You can't always just sit there and complain about the whole situation the whole time you're in it. Or terrible.
That has been a challenge with me, I'll be honest, with my cancer, where I'm probably a bit of a Debbie Downer at times.
And we all get that way. I think that's normal. But if you can, try to look for the good. Look for the good.
So I sure like having you around. I hope you know that. I mean, it's been, gosh, how many years you've been married to Brian now? Long. It's been over 16 years.
Yeah, it will be 18 years in June.
And you sure have been good for him. I just have to praise you for that because he's a whole different person with you in his life. And I think you caught him right at the time where I think he decided that he wanted a family and he wanted that goodness in his life. He chose well. I hope you know that. We've really loved having you in the family. It's been fun to get to know your family. That's kind of the beauty of all these in-laws, right? Where we get to know your family. And I love your parents. They're good people. And I can see they've taught you well. And you're doing a grand job in teaching your children. My dad, your father-in-law, where he was just noting just how good your kids were. And I thought that's pretty high praise coming from him.
Yeah. So he's told us.
Good. He better have. And Dad, if you hear this, make sure you tell that right to him.
Don't always can find the words either.
Well, I learned with some of your children, some of them have a higher need to just sit and ponder and think. That's not a bad thing. And maybe that's what you said it takes a minute to make decisions because you're really thinking about it. And like today, you were thinking about the experience your children would have, I think, more than yourself. I was watching how you guys were talking that through as a family, and I thought that was pretty special. And I sure hope you have a good time going back with them, and just know you're loved. And I sure have appreciated we've had a couple of fun sisters trips, and you've dealt with me, and we're still talking to each other.
That's so good. I love hanging out with you, Candace.
I think I was a little bit cantankerous on that last one, where I probably was not at the top of my game. And I thought, sometimes we aren't, right? And I thought, to your point, I think just remembering kindness really does speak volumes about who we are, even when we're at our lowest. I'm going to try harder after talking to you, because maybe, just maybe, I've not always felt that way, but I sure know when I have acted that way, like just with all those treating me. You're a nurse, right? That's not an easy space to be in because everyone doesn't feel well.
Oh.
And I've sure, like, when I went this week, like, I feel like I've been to like 3 different times to the doctors. I have this last week. And I thought, I'm just, here we go again. And I tell you, the people that took my blood, Amanda, because you've done that too. Because you've also volunteered your time to go do that, haven't you? To give your nursing skills.
A little bit. A little bit.
Oh, just know you are a good mom. And if anyone tells you otherwise, I'm going to have words with them. You send me their name. But that in a kind way, just to say, yeah, yep. Words of kindness go a long way. That's what I heard from you.
Yep.